What's up, my friends? Welcome back to Tearfin Crafts. This video is brought to you by my friends over at Reaper Comics. If you are a fan of comics, specifically if you are a fan of long runs or full sets of comics, Reaper Comics is going to be the place to go. They do not yet have their website up completely. However, here soon, they should have it officially up. They are finishing up their last bits of inventory management and a few other things, getting everything lined out and buttoned up. If you're a fan of comics, be it fans of comic giants such as Marvel and DC, or if you're a fan of the more independent side of comics, be it Dark Horse Comics, Image, or even Aftershock Comics, they carry a wide range of stuff. Again, in full sets. So, if you are looking for, say, a full set of X-Men 2099, they have it. Or even if you're like me and you're a fan of the 1602 series, they have a full set of 1602 Witch Hunter Angela. And I'm ecstatic. But once they're up and going, I will be linking their website down in the description. For this video, however, as much as I wanted to do tabletop terrain pieces, I didn't get a chance to do that. For this, it is going to be tabletop related. To that, every week I run 2 games. Both of them utilize the 5e system, mostly because the 5th edition system is, or at least Wizards of the Coast's Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition system, is extremely easy to teach new players. People that are not very accustomed to ever playing any sort of tabletop game, or at least a pen and paper styled tabletop game. 5th edition's a very simplistic system to teach. On Wednesdays, I run a more traditional tabletop game. On Thursdays, I run a Star Wars game that is a 5th edition conversion. And the actual reason for that one is because I had found a system that works really well and has everything very well lined out. All of that system was found on sw5e.com, and I will be putting a link to that down in the description, so you guys can go check it out if that is something that you are interested in. As to my Wednesday game, I say it is a quote-unquote traditional game. However, it is really not. It does take place in the Forgotten Realms. Majority of the initial game took place in Faerun. I believe that game itself had started as a tabletop form to the board game Lords of Waterdeep, and it expanded from there. When it expanded, if I was able to find a 5th edition conversion, I threw it into the game. It worked out. It was something that to me, worked for the game. So because of that, I continued to do it. One of the things I had found was this. I found this, I believe I had found it on Pinterest. Not for sure if I had found it there or if I found it on Google. Truthfully, if you are a GM and you actually enjoy throwing homebrewed stuff at your players, you could go the route that a lot of us do and go to the D&D Wiki or any variety of those home areas where you can find a lot of homebrewed stuff, or you can do like I ended up doing and going to Pinterest, which surprisingly has a vast array of homebrew stuff that's free to use, or at least from what my understanding is free to use. Ideally, if you put it online and somebody's able to find it, I don't see why they aren't able to use it in their games. That being said, the creators to this, these guys over here, honestly, they have done an amazing job with all of the dire stuff that I found. Whenever I incorporated Pokemon into my games, I hadn't found this at the time, but since then, I have not only incorporated these into my game, I have utilized the dire forms as an alternate form of evolution, or not really an alternate form of evolution, a next level of evolution, much like mega evolutions. That being said, I didn't keep them dire forms at all. I did change the name, and I did give them a method of becoming that evolutionary thing. The name got changed to Runic Evolution. Part of that is because runes hold magic. And I wanted the evolution to be something sort of Scandinavian. And I go quote unquote because honestly, runes are something that spans worldwide, not just in Scandinavia. That being said, runes hold magic. The highest point of magic from a Norse standpoint is Odin. Odin is the highest magician as far as skill and capability. And so runes are associated with that. I wanted that feel to be part of that evolution. That being said, one of the other traits of Odin is what's the term? A god of death to the Norse pantheon, and a warring deity at that. So one of the stipulations for these Pokemon to evolve is they have to go into battle, and not like a standard Pokemon battle, more brutal Dungeons and Dragons styled, slay the dragon, make it bleed kind of thing. And then you have to mark the runes on the Pokemon, and it evolves. Not every Pokemon was done as a dire form, so I've had to, since implementing that, take a look back at my own mental follies, because I didn't think through what my players would do or were capable of. That being said, this episode, this video, and what we're about to go down to the table and see is the result of that mild idiocracy. But I hope you guys enjoy. For the initial design, I definitely went with the Dunsparce that my player had evolved. it was awkward, to say the least, because, well, one, Dunsparce doesn't have an evolution, and two, it was not something I expected him to actually try to take into battle. However, he did it, and so I wanted it to be the most interesting version of an evolution to a Dunsparce that I could pull off. I did reference a few images on Google of potential evolutions that people had done for a Dunsparce. But in the end, I tried to take into consideration more the mystical, magical side of Runic when it came to the overall idea and design to the Runic evolution to Dunsparce. Instead of it being a normal type, I ended up changing that up. I felt that it needed more. Part of that was because, truthfully, normal doesn't give you a whole lot of stuff when it comes to Pokemon. I am batting around the stats for it and the skills and capabilities, but as I went along, I did change up the wings a couple of times, just because I didn't feel like they were fitting the aesthetic I was going for, especially after I had decided I wanted the Runic evolution to Dunsparce to be a normal fairy type, which in itself is odd, but I did try to stay true to many of the aspects of a traditional Dunsparce, especially the description of it in the Pokedex. It is a land snake, so because of that, I wanted to play to that. When it came to detailing the sides and the belly, specifically the sides, I did want to play to a story from the Norse theology, and that was the death of Balder. In that, the god of mischief, Loki, ends up killing Balder with a branch of mistletoe. And so, because of that, I tried to make the knotting around the side of the belly look roughly reminiscent of mistletoe. Not exactly like it, but enough to where it kind of has that same aesthetic. As I went into inking, the inking was pretty simple. Tried to keep the lines as simple and as clean as I could all the way through, without massively destroying the finite detail work that I had already done. In whole, I still hold to Dunsparce was a weird choice of Pokemon for my player to have decided to use in the instance of Runic evolution, but honestly, I do enjoy getting to work on pieces like this that definitely take me out of my norm and change things up a bit. But once I get through the inking and start into coloring is where things take a bit more of a different shift. as I started coloring, I tried to keep true to the yellows and blues of a traditional Dunsparce at first. That didn't last. It ended up changing drastically as I went along, adding more rich blues. And as you will see here in a moment, I decided that I wanted to take the belly and the areas around the head and do a sort of an orange color to them, and then leaving the wing-like protrusions as a very distinct white, as sort of a general contrast away from the bright colors of the rest of it, going into more of a simplistic sort of appeal as far as color goes. And part of that was just to keep true to the fact that a normal Dunsparce has white wings. But I did try to play to that as best I could. As I go along working on the belly, I do end up actually adding in line work to the pattern on the belly. Most of that was just because I didn't feel it looked right at the time. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the coloring. All right, you guys, and there you have it. That is a runic Dunsparce. Uh, Honestly, I don't know what to say about it. I enjoyed working on the piece. I do enjoy the look of the piece. Uh, Again, I want to say thank you to our friends over here at Reaper Comics for helping us out as much as they have on this channel. I am still working on the stats for this. However, hopefully here soon I will have the stats completely buttoned out. If you are a fan of this content, remember to hit the like button and subscribe. And then ring that bell for notifications, because we're going to have all kinds of shenanigans continuing on this channel. If you like this content and you want to support us, come check us out over on Patreon at patreon.com/TierfingCrafts. And then you can come check us out over on Facebook at Tierfing Crafts Handcrafted Arts and Gaming, where we do a lot of this stuff from week to week, which this is not from one of my lives on there, but it is this sort of the same content that you will find on there. A lot of shenanigans and a lot of conversation about nerd things, from gaming all the way across to art and even weird stuff like Disney movies, which has been some of the most recent stuff that we've been doing. But come check us out. Thank you everyone for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one.